What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Pete Dohan here. We're coming in with another comparison review. Today we're going to look at the Brunswick Infinity Quest, and I'm going to compare it to a very popular ball on the line, the Hammer Black Widow 3.0. Amongst people in my age group, they like this ball a lot. It is a stronger, slower ball, where the Infinity Quest is going to be a little bit weaker, especially with the asymmetry, which on the Infinity Quest is only 0.010, where on the Black Widow has that Black Widow core, so the core numbers are a little higher. Let me just stop talking right now and just throw some shots and get into this thing really quick. All right, we're here in the morning. It is fresher house shot, but as you see in my past videos, the oil line is around 910 here, so we're gonna throw a couple shots just to the right of that to see how it works out. All right, not bad. So like I said, this core is a little bit weaker than what's in the Black Widow 3.0. But I wanted to compare these two because if you saw my ball review, when you're done with this, go check it out of the Brunswick Infinity Quest, where I compared Special Effect and the Mesmerize, where the Mesmerize is a much bigger ball than the Infinity Quest, and the Special Effect has a stronger cover with similar numbers. But when I look at all the numbers, I really don't get into basically where they fit in my arsenal. I kind of look at more of shapes and how they hook on the lane from front to back. Now for both these balls, I did scratch them with 1,000 just to keep the surfaces the same. This Infinity Quest was shining up since I did my ball review. So another shot again outside of second arrow. Let's see how it rolls. You see, with that weaker core, it is going to be quicker down lane, where I can really tell a difference between that and the Black Widow, where the Black Widow is going to be a little bit more rounder. It doesn't have the hammer shape though, where it is a little bit quicker off the spot down lane. So since both of these balls are drilled exactly the same, where I drill them 45 by 5 by 35 for short patterns, so we're just basically going to see how the cores are different and the covers on this house shot. Two shots outside of second arrow. One more shot right where the oil line is here, right at 10-11, just so I can show you how different the ball rolls there. Now I'm really liking this dual angle layout that I put on this. It wants to be a little bit earlier, but it cuts through the oil, but it gets, I don't know, I couldn't say that's a bad way to describe it. Okay. I like the layouts that I put on this because I can I don't know why I like the layouts. I just do. All right, we're gonna edit that out. All right, I'm gonna throw one more shot, then I'll switch over to the Black Widow. Same thing, right on the oil line, right around 10-11. All right, and with the layout that I put on each of these balls, what I really like is that type of ball motion. When I get in the oil, it's skating through the front, it's getting through the fronts really nice and clean, but then when it hits the end of the pattern, it's a lot quicker off the spot, rather than a more forward motion that I have with some of my other layouts. You see, when you do use a smaller valve angle, that's gonna make the ball react down lane a lot faster, a lot quicker, more in a forward motion. And then with these 5-inch pins, I did make it flare a little bit less. All right, I'm gonna switch over to the Black Widow 3.0. We'll see how that rolls. So same thing again, outside of second arrow. Just see in the dry. This gateway arch pattern does have a lot of dry to the right, but we'll just see for a comparison. That was really out there. All right, now with the two balls, as you can see, I got that one really far out in the dry, but that one recovered, and that's the help of the core compared to where the weaker core is in the Infinity Quest. These two balls look like a tandem right now on this house shot. I could throw the Black Widow 3.0 earlier, and then as the lanes transition and they dry out the fronts, I can throw the Infinity Quest. All right, one more time outside of second arrow, then we'll start moving. Not as far right as that one was. Maybe a little bit better shot. Been working on that stuff. So I can see with this one, with the layout, even though they are the same, this is more of a rounder ball. I can throw it firmer and it's really smooth. It doesn't want to have a big change of direction down lane, where the Infinity Quest comes off the dry a lot harder. All right, one more time. This time I'm gonna move left, more around second arrow, and see what that does. Should be a little quicker like the Infinity Quest was, but start up a little bit earlier because of the core. And already, I moved into more oil. You can see the stronger core is having a rough time getting when it hits the dry, having a better transition, a little, as in quicker off the spot, where the Infinity Quest was a lot quicker because it made it farther down the lane because it's a weaker core. Then especially when this Infinity Quest shines up, I really like it because it does get quicker down lane, so I can open up my angles and make it make the ball kind of bounce off the right. All right, now we're gonna move left in between second and third arrow now. Go a little slower, throw it a little bit to the right. That way it has a nice transition from oil to dry. Like that. Not the best shot, but it's getting out there. If I had more rev rate, it'd probably be quicker, but I don't. I have less rev rate. Let's try to be a little bit smoother this time with this one. That way I just have a bigger change of direction. When I bowled at Maple Lanes for the other ball review that I did on the bowling lab, check that one out. It had more change of direction down lane. It had more oil in the front. All right, one more time. In between second and third arrow. Like that. So I can trust it. I can throw a little more to the right. I'm still trying to fine tune my angles with some of that stuff because I really don't like the big, steeper angles in the front. I like to keep the ball in front of me. All right, now we're gonna throw the Black Widow 3.0 in there and just see if I can maybe come around a little bit just to help delay it a little bit, because you saw the last time it was really forward when it got to the dry. Came off a little too hard. Nice and smooth around. Didn't throw as far right down lane as I did, but I hit where I wanted to at the arrows. Where these balls fit in my arsenal, as I said, with these two layouts that I put on it with the 45 by 5 by 35, I drill these for short patterns. I didn't drill them for long. Even you can see on this house shot, as I move in, we're getting a little over under with it. I really would have to open up my angles, and I mean, if I had more rev rate, I could make it change shape because of how strong, you know, asymmetrical cores that are in these two. All right, one more time, and see if I throw a little bit better, maybe a little more shape. All right, I came around it a little bit, so it really didn't shape right. It's just such a bigger ball with the differential that's higher and the higher mass amount. It's not going to come off the dry the right way. It's going to be really smooth, really round. But that's what you need on shorter patterns, especially on the fresh or when they're transitioning. You need that kind of transitional ball where it's going to blend the wet dry out as the lanes are changing. All right, let me go a little bit more left, kind of like I did in my ball review. Test the limits, because this is the weaker one. That's what we're going to do it with. More like that. See that? With the Black Widow 3.0, I can't do that. It's just a little too strong, and it doesn't, you know, transition off the dry the right way. If I was bowling right now and I was moving left, this is the Infinity Quest is what I'd be throwing. I'm stumbling a little bit. All right, one more. Let's see if I could just throw a steeper angle. I mean, since it is a pressure house shot, it's going to come off the dry. I mean, off the oil to the dry a lot faster. Yeah, didn't roll that one as good. With all that oil in the middle, it's not going to have a change of direction. All right, couple shots. Let's go farther right, and then we'll finish this up. To me, this Infinity Quest is going to be below the Mesmerize in your arsenal, on your league arsenal, or more below the special effects line, and the track line. It's going to be below the Paragon Shadow. Those are stronger balls compared to this one. Not a very good shot, but all right, let's see how the Black Widow 3.0 rolls out there, and we'll finish this up. All right, so as you can see, both of these surfaces, I'll probably keep them at 1,000 because that's where they roll the best for me. They're very predictable, and when they blend the oil to the dry, so we don't want them. I don't want to put too much surface on this one because they'll make it too early and be really slow, which I don't want that. And if I put too much surface on the Infinity Quest with that weaker core, it probably is going to be a little confused as well. Oh, bad one. As you can see, they're very dry down there, even though I didn't throw a good shot. Not a good one. Not a good one. All right, one more time. Ball's kind of shining up a little bit as I go because it is, I believe it's a weaker solid cover than what's on the Infinity Quest, but I'm not sure. They all have different variances on them. Throw a better one. Trying a little too hard. There we go. And it was. Came off the dry. I mean, I went through the oil, came off the dry, and kind of like just stood up a little bit. All right, guys, there's my ball comparison between the Brunswick Infinity Quest that came out last month on August 14th compared to the Black Widow 3.0, very popular ball in everybody's line. All right, if you like what you see, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, turn on that bell for notifications so you know my content hits your internet. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.